Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dhanashree and I'm a doctor working in the UK. In my last video, I spoke about my journey in the NHS so far and how I got into urology training in the UK. Now, the main aim of this channel is to guide training applications, portfolio building and interview preparations. However, let's start with the basics. So if you are an international medical graduate wanting to start your NHS journey, you need to first get registered with the GMC. Now, what is GMC or General Medical Council? Well, simply put, it's a body that maintains the register of all doctors working in the NHS. So, you won't be able to start your NHS journey without getting a full GMC registration with a license to practice medicine. So, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the routes to getting GMC registered for an IMG and the paperwork required to finish the process. So, let's get started. So there are mainly three routes to GMC registration: the PLAB route, the postgraduate qualification route, and the sponsorship route. The PLAB route is basically for someone who wants to start their NHS journey immediately after MBBS. There are two exams, PLAB 1, which is a written exam, and PLAB 2, which is a practical exam. Once you clear these exams and get GMC registered, you will generally be able to apply for SHO level jobs. Now, what do I mean by SHO level jobs? Basically, there are two levels of jobs available for a doctor who's not yet on the specialist register. Firstly, SHO level, that is Senior House Officer level, which is also often advertised as Junior Clinical Fellow post. This is aimed at someone who is immediately post MBBS or has recently finished their PG with no prior NHS experience, and essentially, these are junior roles with comparatively less responsibility, as opposed to registrar level jobs, also advertised as senior clinical fellow jobs, which are aimed at someone with significant postgraduate experience in their home country. Now, this is a senior role with more responsibility. So once we've understood this basic difference, let's get back to the routes to GMC registration. The first one that we discussed was the PLAB route, aimed at an IMG entering the NHS job market immediately after MBBS. The second one is the postgraduate qualification route. Now, unfortunately, the Indian MS, MD, DNB degree is not sufficient to get you GMC registration, and the accepted postgraduate qualification exams are the Royal College exams like MRCS, MRCP, etc. Most of these exams have 2 or even 3 parts, and you need to finish all the parts and get their diploma certificates to be eligible to apply. A point to note here is that if you have passed an acceptable overseas registration exam like USMLE Step 1, Step 2 or Australian Medical Association exam, then you are directly able to apply for GMC registration. Now, what if you are someone who has been working in your home country for quite a few years, have ample experience, but have not given any of these licensing exams? Then the next route is for you. This is the sponsorship route. Many Royal Colleges and NHS trusts are able to provide you with a sponsorship for GMC registration, and I will put their link in the description box below for your reference. Each sponsor will have their own criteria which you must fulfill to be eligible to get GMC registration via this route. But the minimum essential criteria is that the doctor must be engaged in medical practice for at least 3 out of 5 years, including the last 12 months. They're also sometimes called fellowship schemes, and an important point to note here is that some of these trusts may charge you a fee for joining their course, so you will need to read through their documents properly before applying. You must also have heard of the MTI scheme. This is another way to get GMC sponsorship. MTI is essentially a medical training initiative, which is a national scheme where overseas doctors are hired for a maximum period of 24 months, and after this, the doctor is expected to return to their home country. What you need to remember is that you will be given sponsorship for a Tier 5 visa and not a Tier 2 visa on this scheme, which is a temporary worker visa, and the time you spend on this would not count towards your ILR. So, Once you know which route suits you best, you will be able to begin gathering the required documents for GMC registration. We've already discussed the first one, which is either your PLAB passing certificate or PG diploma certificate, that is your MRCP or MRCS certificate, or a sponsorship certificate. The next document you need is a proof of your primary medical qualification, that is your MBBS degree certificate. Now, these two documents need to be verified by ECFMG, which is Education Commission for Foreign Medical Graduate, through their online system called EPIC, which is Electronic Portfolio of International Credentials. Now, no need to get overwhelmed by all these terminologies. Essentially, this is a US body that verifies documents for the GMC. The third document you need is evidence of English language capabilities. There are two tests which you can take, either IELTS or OET. Important points to note about IELTS are that you need to take the UK academic version of the test. You must score at least 7 in each domain. There are 4 domains: listening, reading, writing and speaking, and an overall score of 7.5 is required. And IELTS scores are only valid for 2 years. The second test is OET, which is Occupational English Test. You need to take the medicine version of the test and you need to score at least a grade B in each testing area. The fourth document is Evidence of Fitness to Practice, where you will need to provide a certificate of good standing from your medical regulatory authority, for example, MMC or Maharashtra Medical Council, employee references, and details of all medical and non-medical experience, including any breaks in medical practice. Once you have the paperwork ready, it's a fairly straightforward procedure and usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks. First, you need to make an online application via GMC online account. Then, you will receive an email from the GMC asking you to send your documents. You need to then send your documents as one PDF file in the order that they tell you. Mind you, they're very particular about this. Then you should get an approval and will be called for an ID check. This used to be face-to-face, but recently they have partnered with an app called Digi-Identity for secure identity checks. So that's it, guys. This pretty much sums up routes to GMC registration and summarizes the whole process in a few steps. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. In my next video, I will talk about routes to getting on the specialist register in the UK, so stay tuned. I will see you in my next video and until then, take care.